studios in New York City. This is Charlie Rose.
The great Dolly Parton is here. To millions of fans, she is one of the most iconic and enduring performing artists in America. Born on a farm in Sevier County, Tennessee, she was the fourth of 12 children. She started performing at the age of 10 and says that making music is all I have ever known. Her classics include Jolene, Coat of Many Colors, Here You Come Again, and I Will Always Love You. She has received countless honors, including 25 #1 Billboard hits, 7 Grammy Awards, 10 Country Music Association Awards, and a Kennedy Center honor. Here is a listen to some of her work.
Now if you see that other blonde, there's something you might tell her. She needs to waste her time away trying to steal my yeller. Well, if I was on top of the top, I'd sail away to the west. I'd sail around this whole wide world to the one I love the best. Play a song for me, Applejack, Applejack. Play a song for me and I'll sing. Play a song for me, Applejack, Applejack. Play a song, let your banjo ring. And I dare not drown my sorrow in the warm glow of your wine. You can't buy my love with money, for I never was that kind. Silver threads and golden needles cannot mend this heart of mine. And the flowers still grow, but they don't smell as sweet as they did when you picked them for me. And when I think of you and the love we once knew, how I wish we could go back in time. Do you ever think back on old memories like that? Or do I ever cross your mind? I will always love you. I will always love you.
This spring, Dolly wrote the music and lyrics for the Broadway musical version of 9 to 5. She will perform with musical's cast during the Tony Award broadcast on Sunday, June 7th. I am pleased to have her here at this table. Welcome.
Well, thank you. After looking at those film clips, I really should have said I wrote the music for Hair.
I wanted to know what's going on under there.
I know.
Little
I
things
think I
living
have
there.
a little family of pygmies living in some of that hair. But anyway, that's the way it is. It ain't changed a whole lot, but it's so funny
Well, you know,
looking
when
back at all those things. I didn't know where you got a lot of that.
When you do it that way, you can change anything you want, can't you?
That's true. Yeah.
You know?
And you think you look good at that time. Thank you.
Nice to have you here.
Well, thank you. I'm finally glad to get to be on this show with you.
Thank you very much. Now, tell me about 9 to 5. I mean, how do they get you to do all this hard work?
Actually, this was about 4.5 years ago now. That Bob Greenblatt, who produced the show, and Pat Resnick, who wrote the book and also had written the original movie 30 years ago with Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and myself, they came to me.
Now, who directed the original movie?
Actually, Colin Higgins directed
right,
the movie, and he was a wonderful man, and we had a wonderful time doing the whole show. And then 30 years later, they come to me and ask if, say they're going to make it into a musical, and I thought, wow, after all this time. And I had written the original theme song of 9 to 5 for the movie. And I said, well, I've never done anything on Broadway. I'm not sure that I'm the girl for it, but I love to write, and telling stories wasn't new to me, and writing songs was not new to me. So I jumped at the chance. I said, well, I'll give it a try, and if it works out, if you see it's going to work out, great. If not, it won't hurt my feelings. You can still use the title song. But I got into it, and they seemed to like it, and here we are on Broadway.
And was it hard? Was it easy? Was it, was it different?
It was different, and it was hard and easy. I mean, I love writing, but in a way, it was easier for me to write this because in this respect, because when you write like I do, you have to write for radio, and you know enough about Nashville and the music to know you have to have like a verse and a chorus and a bridge, and you have to try to keep it under 3 minutes in order to get radio play.
Yes.
But in doing this, I had the luxury of just writing till I told the story of what I thought these characters would say. But it was hard in the respect that I had to really focus, because I was writing for so many personalities, so many characters within the same show. I mean, it's not like just independent songs where you can tell your story and that's that. But I got a kick out of writing for all those personalities. My favorite was working on the Mr. Hart, the guy in the show, the mean old.
Yeah. This was played by Dabney.
Dabney Coleman did the movie,
right.
and now Mark Kudish, who's nominated for a
Tony?
Tony, this year, and he's fantastic.
Now, when you
and
watch
sings
it,
great.
do you say, God, I wish I was up there. I'd love to be on Broadway right now.
Well, not really. I really enjoy watching the little girl that is playing my part, Megan Hilty. She is fantastic, such a great singer and a dancer and all the stuff that I couldn't do anyway. But she just does so great, and I can just see enough of my part to where she makes me look really good. I don't think
Well, I
I
would have had
could
another
hold
part
up.
for you, but but you're going to sing on Tony on the Tony Award night.
Yes, actually I am. They're actually doing different pieces of different shows that's been nominated, different people. So I get to sing a little bit of 9 to 5 and then have the cast dance and sing with me. So that'll be fun.
What's the secret to longevity?
Well, loving what you do, I
Good start.
think. And I'm excited every day with everything. I never know what I'm going to do. I have a new dream every day, and it's energizing to me. And I just wait. I'm a spiritual-minded person, so I just kind of pray that everything will come right.
God has a purpose for you?
Yeah, I do feel that way.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I always have. And so it's better to believe it. It helps me, takes the pressure off me. I just give him the credit, or I can just blame him.
Put yourself in his hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you write now other than writing for 9 to 5?
Oh, I write all the time. I've been writing since I was a little bitty girl. I started writing serious when I was about 7 years old, when I learned to play the guitar. I'm from a musical family. All my mother's people play and sing, mostly church people. So that gift came naturally, but I write all the time. Not a day goes by that I don't write down some title, some thought, some idea, or even a song or two.
Why do you think it worked out other than God's will for you? I mean, it's passion, it's talent, it's timing, it's luck.
And sacrifice.
And sacrifice. We'll talk about sacrifice.
Well, actually, it was something
Sacrifice is right.
I found out early on that I loved it. As you mentioned early in the show, I'm from a family of 12 children, 6 girls and 6 boys, and I have a sister and 2 brothers older, and 8 children younger. So I was kind of born in one of those spots that, and I was a very energetic, hyper little kid. I needed a lot of attention. And so I just needed it, but I wasn't getting all the attention. We got love, of course. They loved us all the same.
But there were so many, they couldn't give as much as you'd like.
And so I found out early on that I had to, instead of just staying in trouble all the time, I had to kind of focus on something. So I learned to play that guitar, and I learned to love it.
Now, what would trouble be, boys?
No, just being too hyper and too, trying to get so much attention and either aggravation or just being loud and not realizing it, just being, just into everything. So I learned to discipline myself through my music, and then I started writing these songs. Then people would come around, and my mother was very impressed with the fact that I could write like that.
Now,
why do you
think? Was it simply because you worked at it so hard, or was it a gift?
It was a gift. The gift ran in the family.
Yeah.
I just took it and decided I was going to do more. So I would write all these songs. When people would come to our house, Mom would say, "Oh, run and get your guitar and sing that song you wrote for them."
Get your guitar.
And then I saw people would make over it, and I was getting a lot of attention. So I thought, wow, this is going to be great. So I just kept that up, and I honed in on all of my skills and sharpened my wit with that. And I really just thought later on, after the first time I was ever on stage, I thought, wow, this is great. People love me. And I know now it was only because I was little. I wasn't that good. But I was just up there doing it, and I just thought, I'm going to make this my whole life. And
Did you create a persona, or was it you?
Well, you mean the way I look?
No, everything.
And everything?
No.
Well, I am the way I am, but I was never like a natural beauty. I was not a pretty little kid, and I always wanted to be, and I was always impressed with, with a town tramp. I always tell this story, but it's the truth. There was this woman in our hometown of Sevier County.
And how big is Sevier?
And it is small. Back then, it was just a few hundred people. Now
She was a town
big.
tramp?
But but we didn't get to go to town that often, but she was this woman that had all this yellow hair, red nails, toenails, high heels,
And what
short
was her name?
skirts.
Do you remember?
I ain't telling it. Because her family will know I don't. But anyway, everybody looked at her, and I thought she was beautiful.
Yeah.
I would say so, and they would say, oh, she's nothing but trash. And I thought, that's what I'm going to be.
Be trash.
I'll be trash. So I kind of, seriously though, I just thought it was that look that I liked, and it seemed to match my personality because I was more outgoing in my personality than I looked on the outside. So it just all came together.
Now, did people project onto you certain behavioral expectations?
You mean when I was little, or
No, when you
because
started-
I started looking like that?
Yes.
It turned out to work well for me. I look totally artificial. I like to think I'm totally real.
Yeah, of course
and
you
it's
are. And everybody
certainly
knows that.
well. And a lot of people say I'd have done much better, much sooner, been taken more serious if I'd have looked more like not such
like
a joke
right.
or a character. But that's all right because it worked for me and it came from a serious place, and I wouldn't change it now.
Would you change anything now? I mean, what? Go
I
ahead.
think to change anything would change everything. I can't look back like that. I know I've done some things that other people might think are wrong, and sometimes I may think, wonder if I
Well,
should
like
have done
what?
that. Well, whatever, decisions you make, or, if you should have done this then, or whatever. You can't just say what all it is, but then you think, well, I don't know that I would change anything. You can't live your life like that.
Yeah, but
I
there was
wouldn't
no
be
wrong
me.
turn in which you went somewhere where you wish now that you'd gone the other way.
No. I've just made a few mistakes within the business, like I say, maybe putting out my life story sooner than I wanted to because I was pressured with management.
So why would that be a problem, putting out your life story?
Well, I'm just saying before I was ready,
Ah.
because the money was big and you do things, those kind of things. But every time I go against my gut, I always pay for that.
Me too.
Just
It's
like when I
always
did
true.
the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure I should do that because I was getting a lot of flack, and I went on and did it anyway. And I had a real hard time during that whole show, and it changed hands so many times that the original writer, didn't really get the credit and the glory, and it didn't turn out to be what it originally was. So there was just a lot of bickering, a lot of trouble on it, but. That was after I already got into it, so I thought, I should have known. I should have followed my gut. Although I can't say I regret doing it because it also did, other things. But anytime I go against my gut, I pay.
What are you most proud of?
Well, I'm proud of all of it. I'm proud that I've been able to make a living at what I
Some
love
kind of living.
to do. Well, it's true. It's like I'm glad I never had to work at anything else. I've been very fortunate. But we were talking about sacrifice. But you give up a lot. I never had children. I couldn't, it just wasn't in the cards for me to have them. But
Why not?
I just couldn't have children.
Medically,
We thought we wanted children. When my husband and I, of 43 years, when we first married, we thought we probably would have children. So for a while, we didn't do anything to not, but nothing happened. And then my career started going. Then I
Didn't do
started
anything to
taking
not.
birth control pills, you
Yeah.
know. And then later, when I got off of those, nothing happened. So I just figured it was never meant to be. But
You
it's
think
like,
about adoption, or
well, you thought about it, but by that time, I raised a lot of my younger brothers and sisters that came to live with my husband and I. We sent them to school, and we're very involved in our nieces and nephews. So we never really missed it like I thought we would. But now I'm so involved with everybody's kids, I guess it just wasn't meant for me to have kids, so everybody's kids could be mine.
it sounds like the marriage worked.
Well, it did. 43 years. First for both
And
of
how
us.
do you explain that?
I stay going. It works like a charm. You don't have to be in each other's face all the time.
If you're not there, there's no problem.
No, but actually, so I do stay gone enough to where that we're excited when we see each other. And,
Yes.
and we're not in the same business. He's not in show business, so
Well.
we don't fight over that. He don't try to tell me how to run my business
try
because he
how to
don't
sing
know
the song.
nothing about it. But
And you don't tell him how to run his
I
business,
don't
whatever
tell
it
him
is.
how to run his business either.
Yeah. So who was the first big influence on you?
Well, actually, the big influences in my early life were relatives of mine. I had this woman that was a Pentecostal preacher. My aunt, Dorothy Joe, just passed away recently. She sang, she played all kinds of instruments, and she sang in the church, and she wrote all these great songs. So I was very impressed with her. And so
She wrote all these great songs?
Yes, and my mother was a great singer, that old-timey. So I was very influenced with my family because my grandpa was a great musician. But outside of that, when I got to hearing the Grand Ole Opry, people like Kitty Wells, Rose Maddox, the Maddox brothers and Rose, she's the one that she worked with her brothers, and they were the first people I saw that wore like rhinestones, shiny clothes. And I saw, you know, you need to have a show. If you're going to get up on
in
stage,
show business, you need a show.
Don't wear, just like now, it's so hard for
Don't
me
wear a t-shirt and jeans.
to go anywhere in jeans and a shirt.
Because you're so used to...
Rhinestones, I think I have to shine because I think I'm a star.
Well, you are.
Well, I'm just saying, I think, well, if somebody told me early on when I was a kid, you're a star. I thought, well, don't a star supposed to shine? So even if I ain't talented.
But at home, back in Tennessee, you're in the jeans, aren't you?
I do wear jeans. And,
at home?
Yeah. But I still put on my makeup and fix my hair.
When you get up in the morning?
Yeah, because I don't think my husband needs to look at me looking like a dog all day.
Well, I don't think you look like a dog.
Well, you don't
ever
know.
in
You
your
ain't
life.
seen me. You've only seen me in my shiny star clothes.
But take me along the track of Dolly Parton in terms of beginning with the talent you had and as a young person in writing and all that. And then what was the big song? What was the best break?
Actually, my big break came. My uncle Bill Owens is one of my mother's brothers. Is the one that spotted my talent early on. He used to take me around to different places. Took me to Nashville, helped me with that. But I moved to Nashville when I was 18. I graduated from high school, moved to Nashville the next morning.
The next morning?
Porter Wagoner.
Well, Porter was the big.
He was the one that gave me that first big break because he had the #1 syndicated television show at that time. And the girl singer that had been with him for years was going to marry and move back home. And so
One more career over.
Yeah, so anyway, he just had seen me on local TV. I had a couple of chart records at that time, and he'd seen me around, and everybody was saying, oh, there's this new girl in town. She writes and she sings and she plays. So he brought me.
She looks fine.
Well, maybe they said that, but anyway, I went down to his office, and so I sat there and played him some songs. And
you were on TV the next night.
Well, just about.
Yeah.
He
And
offered me the job that day.
How long did that last?
7 years.
So you guys were very close.
We were. We fought like cats and dogs during that time because I had really moved to Nashville to be my own star, and I had promised to stay with the show just a few years. And then the years started going by, and then we were getting very famous as a duet as well. And it was Porter's show, and he was just... So we fought a lot because I wanted to go, and he didn't want me to. And so So
you were getting more famous than he was, and he kind of...
I don't know that it was that so much. He still wanted me to go because it was all part of his show, and I guess he thought he owned me then. But I'm not easy to own. So,
no
but
kidding.
Anyhow,
no one has ever owned Dolly.
No, God.
But that's it.
God and me. That's about it. And I share it with everybody else.
Does your career own you? You know,
No,
do you give everything to your career? Does your
not
career?
really. I'm not
whatever you have to do for your career, you'll do it.
It's not about my career so much as it's about my life. It's about who I am, what I do, and what I'm best at. I do love my career, but it never was just about money to me. It was about the art. It was about the fact that I wrote, and God gave me a talent, and I think He wanted me to make the most of it. So I'm out there, and I feel like I touch people. I feel like I make a difference. I feel like I can write songs for people that can't express themselves. So I really think I'm helping. You know, I really feel like I am.
And if 100% is all the talent you have, how much of it are you using?
Well, I don't know that. I ask God all the time to show me new things and new ways, but I try to give everything I got with what I've got to work with. I'm giving it all I got.
I'd say that. So, does it get easier?
Well, I love
Writing,
it.
Performing.
I really love what I do. I've always loved it. Sometimes you just get a little weary just because there's so many demands on you after you get to a certain point. You know, you're a product. And
you're a product.
And then people want you to do this and do that, to where it's easy to lose your own self. And being as spiritual-minded as I am, I kind of often worry about that I'm losing my soul, or don't let nobody steal your soul. It's like, hang on to that for dear life. So it gets, you know, it's always been easy for me to say yes, and it's always been easy for me to say no. But sometimes you just get into those
It's
places
easy to
where,
say yes, and it's easy to say no.
yeah. And it all works, and I'm certainly not complaining. I want to do this all the days of my life.
Well, did you run into a lot of sexism? I mean, you mentioned
Well,
Porter's show and all of that.
I did, but I always used that to my best interest because I looked like a girl that may be easy. But I was serious about my work,
Yeah.
and it didn't take long because I grew up with 6 brothers, my dad, all my uncles, all my boy cousins. So I knew the nature of men. I love men. You know, I loved my daddy. I had a great relationship with my dad, and he is just a good old redneck guy, you know,
Yeah.
but I know how they think. So
You know
I
how
always,
men think.
Yes, and I always felt like that I always say that I look like a woman, but I think like a man.
Yeah.
So right when somebody thought they really maybe had me right where they wanted me or thought I would be, I would, like I've often said, just joking, but it's sort of the truth. You know, I would just have the money and be gone. Or I would just say, look, I think that...
This is great.
I'm serious,
You are
though.
great.
I would say, look, I think I've got a lot to offer. I think I can make us both a lot of money. So I'd just go in selling my goods, not myself. You know, part of myself was part of the goods, but I never slept with anybody to get ahead. If I slept with somebody, it's because I wanted to, not because I was doing it to make any points with somebody.
Not once, never.
Never.
You've done well financially because you manage yourself well.
Well, thank you.
a
I've been
question.
at it a long
That's a
time.
question.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of good people helping me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fair for me to act like I've done all this myself.
No.
Yeah.
You mean Dolly Parton, Inc.?
Yeah. But I actually have been fortunate. I love the business end of the business. I know I can't
You're
tell
good at the
somebody
business
else
end.
how to live it, but I always say I'm a very professional Dolly Parton. I can't tell somebody else how to be a professional, but I know who I am. I know what I will, won't do, what I should and shouldn't do. And so I've been able to be fortunate to wind up with a lot of wonderful people that's helped me greatly along the way.
It seems to me that you have this most extraordinary self-awareness, that is a signal quality of yours. You know yourself, you know who you are, you know what your talents are, you know what you want, you are prepared to suffer to get it.
Well, that's true. And I think that's a quality that people should have. I mean, it's like if you don't know who you are, you can't expect to pay somebody to tell you who you are.
Yes.
You know, if you know who you are, you've got a good starting point.
Right.
You know, and I'm from a good family, good people, you know, country people, but there was a lot of good stuff in there on both sides of my family. Good personalities, depth and tenderness and sensitivity and caring. And the talent too. So I just saw that there was so much of that stuff that I needed to, you know, and I was very, like I say, spiritual minded. I believed in God, and I believed there was something greater than me that I could look to draw strength from. And that has guided me and led me through the years, and it's kept me from, you know, it's kept me strong, and it's kept me from ever having ego problems or having false pride, you know.
Knowing that somebody larger than you are.
Yes, and so it's a thing that I love. But I am very aware of who I am, and I like myself. You know, I'm the kind of person I can spend a lot of time by myself and enjoy it because I have a lot to think about.
Yeah, you like being alone?
I have a lot to do. Yeah, I do. I love having people close by. I don't like being lonely. But I do love being alone, more than I get to certainly anymore, because after so much time. But I love to just be in my God space, I call it, like where it's just me and the
And when you
things
read
around.
and
I love to read.
watch
I love
television,
to
go to
think,
movies.
make notes, and do all that sort of thing.
Have you done all the writing about yourself that you plan to do?
No, I'm sure that I'll be doing lots of stuff. In fact, I hope to do my life story in a movie soon, and maybe working with some people on some of that.
Who might we want to play
I don't
the
know
young
yet.
Dolly?
There's several people I'm sure out there. We'll just have to
Well,
get
of
them
course there are some people
a
out
big
there.
wig
I'm interested in
and
who
a
you
boob
think.
job. I don't really know yet.
Yeah.
It would depend on when we get the
A
script
boob
all
job?
done. Or a good push-up bra. That's not kind of part of my persona. I always say I
No,
don't
it's part
know.
of you, though, isn't it?
It is, and I always say I don't know if I'm supporting them or they're supporting me. It's
But
like,
it's a good relationship.
yeah, and that's just kind of part of the whole thing, being a girl. But it's served me well. It's, a lot of good jokes come out of it.
Yeah.
But
And you're the most self-deprecating about it of all.
well, that's true, but I always say, and it's in one of the songs, it's in the 9 to 5 musical. The first song I wrote for that was called Backwoods Barbie.
Can you give me the lyrics on that?
Yeah, it says, I grew up poor and ragged, just a simple country girl. I wanted to be pretty more than anything in the world, like Barbie or the models in the Fredericks catalog. From rags to wishes, in my dreams I could have it all. I'm just a backwoods Barbie, too much makeup, too much hair. Don't be fooled by thinking that the goods are not all there. And don't let these false eyelashes lead you to believe that I'm as shallow as I look, 'cause I run true and deep. Anyway, there's a line about, I'm just a backwoods Barbie in a push-up bra and heels.
Right.
Might look artificial, but where it counts, I'm real, and I'm all dolled up and hoping for a chance to prove my worth. And even backwoods Barbies get their feelings hurt. Anyway, it's the song that was the first thing I wrote. I actually have a CD out by that same title, and of course it's for sale now at a lot of places where they sell records. But there's it's the little CD.
All right, but we have a clip here. Let's show the clip
Yeah, oh,
first. Roll
okay.
tape. Here it is.
Oh, all right.
I'm just a backwoods Barbie, too much makeup, too much hair. Don't be fooled by thinking that the goods are not all there. Don't let these false eyelashes lead you to believe that I'm as shallow as I look, 'cause I run true and deep.
That's little Megan Hilty singing that.
She's good,
She's
isn't she?
great. Yeah, she plays the Dorley part.
All right, tell me about this CD here. Dolly is on the front there.
Yes, it's called Backwoods Barbie, and like I said, that was the first song I wrote for the show, but I thought it's such a perfect song for me, and it really is kind of about me too. But this is the latest CD. We have a video out, and this is the collector's edition that you can only get at Cracker Barrel Restaurants because it has 3 additional bonus tracks on it. But I wrote about 13, 14 of the songs.
I wonder who made the deal with Cracker Barrel. Okay.
Well, actually, Danny Nozell, my manager now, made the deal.
Produced by Kent Wells and Dolly Parton.
Yep.
Okay, Better Get to Living. That's one. Made of Stone. Tell me, Made of Stone. What's the history of that?
Well, it's just one of those sad love songs that really got that really singing where singers love to sing it.
Where
It's
they
like
like
an
to go.
R&B country. And it's like, do you think I'm made of stone? Do you think it doesn't hurt? It's a cheating song. Yeah.
Cheating song. I Will Forever Hate Roses.
That's another broken-hearted song, like He Sends Her Roses. He always sent her roses because that was her favorite flower, and known anniversaries and birthdays, and then he leaves, and then he's breaking up and sends her roses saying he's found somebody else, and she will forever hate roses.
Somebody's Everything.
Well, that's where it's like, I just want to be somebody's everything. I want someone to come alive when they lay eyes on me. It's like about somebody taking you so totally for granted.
Right.
And it's like, I'm leaving because I just want to be somebody's everything. I want them to be there, and
It's great to have you here.
thank you.
Broadway musical 9 to 5. Go see it. Wouldn't you suggest
You
it's a good
gotta
idea? I gotta
come
go
see it.
it.
It's fantastic. Everybody loves it. Of course, it's about the girls. The women all love it, but it's fun for the guys too. We got a wonderful, wonderful cast. And Stephanie J. Block plays
Right.
the Jane Fonda role, and Allison Janney plays the Lily Tomlin. Mark Kudish does Mr. Hart, and Dora Lee is Megan Hilty. We have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful cast of people.
And did anybody get a nomination for the score?
I did.
Oh, damn, a Tony nomination.
I did. I'm excited about that. I don't know if I'll win or lose. It doesn't matter. Just that's a long way to come from Locust Ridge, Tennessee, and Sevier County to Broadway. And so I've won several little awards. And they told me that on Broadway.com or whatever, however they choose,
Yeah.
one of the songs from the play is called "Get Out and Stay Out," and it's the song of the year. on Broadway. It was the favorite song.
Congratulations
so,
on
yeah,
that.
I've got a lot of good things. So, like I say, just being nominated is wonderful, and if I should win, that'd just be too good to be true.
Icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come back anytime.
All right. Thanks.
Dolly Parton. Back in a moment, Sam Mendes. Stay with us.